Welcome
What's up?
into a Tuesday night. Oh, wait, who is that? That's you're
Maximum.
yep, you're gonna have to school me. You're gonna have to school me on some Jada figures here coming up.
This is
Uh
this DJ got him on sale on my birthday, and he says maximum down the side of his leg. So I had him kicking the crap out of Spider-Man, saying maximum Spider-Man.
Maximum Carnage. Ooh, how about that one? Well, it is a Tuesday night. It is an evening blend. It is maybe a a night. It might be kind of like our day or your day in
Yeah,
particular that
maybe.
you've had. It could be like my last live stream, um, and so we'll see how it goes. I'm having technical difficulties, but if anybody tuned in Friday, you would have seen that I was having difficulties then as well. But I think we're gonna make it through. We should make it through. And at the very least, we'll work with it. I'm pretty good on my feet, although I'm sitting down right now, so that's not always the best way for me. I think better on my feet. That's why I got this desk because it's one of those standing desks, right, that you can raise and lower. And in my mind, I thought, man, it's a great idea. I can raise it if I want to be on my feet, thinking on my feet, doing a stream. But then I forgot about like camera angles
Yeah,
and adjusting your camera and all that, and your microphone, and if you're moving around and swaying around and all that kind of stuff. So I haven't quite mastered that technique yet. But it is nice to be able to stand and just kind of, instead of always having to sit.
yep.
I do see Menjoza is here. And I just got your message, Matthew.
Oh yeah.
And
I didn't see the notification go out.
so I assume it is. I assume it did, but you know what? I don't know. That's something I always have set up.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna. I'll take a look real quick as we're getting off to a blazing start here, folks. As you can tell, as many times as we've done this, it's
Well, yeah, I mean, we've got some things to talk about tonight. We can jump into some Superman news or Zegler news or
yes,
Snow
yeah,
White. We've got some toy things that were happening in the toy world that some of you guys might be interested in.
for
Um,
sure.
a definite feuding of family factions in one of them. And then
Yeah, that's interesting.
the regular toy feuds going on everywhere else.
It seems that there's toy feuds everywhere.
Oh, I
I mean
know.
that seems to be like the norm.
Yeah.
And whether it's in the creator space, whether it's in the uh, the well, I say the manufacturer space even, but
Yep.
usually in the creator space really seems to me has been the biggest one. Checking and seeing as far as notification go out. I don't really know how to check that. Business as usual seems like, as far as putting that out. But I got to tell you, I don't know how to actually check and see. Nothing should be changed on my end. Um, but there are some other streams going on, and there is another stream. There was one anyway.
Yeah, that was way, well. There's several of them way earlier today. So
Yeah, that's what I figured. But yeah, I don't know, man.
okay.
I could definitely I know one thing I can do really quickly is I can blast it out, and I'll do it right now. Anyway, so yeah, so there's a few stories going on. I did want to bring up kind of the Novocaine bust
You
of
know, I heard that was good. Somebody liked it. It's a couple of people I saw liked it.
man. Now, were those personal friends?
Yeah.
Were those people? Okay, because most of the critics and or other people that I watch, uh, did not like it at all. And as a matter of fact, Alan Ing from Film Threat, he if he wasn't forced to watch it, would have probably left halfway through the movie.
Yeah,
Um,
I get it. I mean, I didn't like the whole premise of it. I'm like, that's not a superpower. That's not the way that actually works. Okay.
I know, right? Well, and it's not even that. Bless you. Holy, my son is having a
Whew.
sneezing fit over here. He's dying. He's dying. Oh no, that's just the people he's hunting down in the Hitman game over there. Anyway, all right. Well, you know what? I posted on Instagram. We'll see. We'll see if some people roll in. Menjoza's here. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Usually we do have a few more people rolling in actually at this time. So I don't know, Matthew. Maybe the notification did not go out.
Well,
That
I didn't see it today. I
that's
normally do,
odd.
especially when you
Well,
hit the live button. So that was weird.
yeah. I don't know. But again, I've been having weird stuff happening with my gear anyway. I think it's my stream deck is the problem, but
Yeah. So
uh,
last week was the blood moon. We don't need any of that juju this
yeah,
week.
I don't know, man. Like, yeah, this is and then you know you've had quite a day,
Whew. Yeah.
and mine actually turned out to be less stressful.
Good.
Um, on the back end.
Yeah.
However, at the same time, right now it's still not exactly. See, there's my sister. Now, did you get a notification, sis? That's what I want to know. Did
War
you get a
chest.
notification? War Chest is in the house. Maybe it went out late. Doesn't matter. What we need to do is we need to just get on with it. You
Yep.
know, that's what we do best as men. We pick up, we move on, we pull up the bootstraps, and we carry on like men do.
Okay.
Okay, so she did get the notification, and Three Star says it did. He was watching Daredevil.
Did you
I had a
fall
con-
asleep?
I'll be honest with you guys. I did, and we watched War Chest. We watched with War Chest first episode of the show. But I have not talked to him really much since then. We did have one conversation. I did have a conversation with my cousin tonight before we went live about Daredevil, and it seems that it's not getting the views that
Oh yeah.
they
It's
were
really not.
hoping that it would get.
I mean, it's got worse viewership than the Acolyte or the Ahsoka
Ahsoka,
show. Yeah.
even the Agatha All Along.
Yep.
It's even less than that. I'm really shocked, honestly. I mean, maybe even She-Hulk. Those are numbers I'm just honestly shocked at. However, and as Morchest says, it's really boring. And he hasn't seen tonight's. I did not
Well,
see tonight's episode either. But I do understand that sentiment from Morchest in the boring factor.
it's half a good story. It's half of it's boring, AF, and you see where it's going, and it's completely destroyed all of the male characters in the show. And then some of it is like, okay, where they go with this, that might be kind of interesting, and then they just rehash old conversations. They play it so dumb. It's frustrating, especially when you can recall direct parallels to the Netflix series and say,
Well,
season 2, episode 3, and Born Again, episode 3, have direct parallels, and you can see
right.
the degradation of quality, and it's frustrating.
I do think that I do think by season three of the Netflix show that it did start to lose steam. I know that their
A little
numbers were
bit.
down by then as
Well,
well. There weren't as many people tuning in. I mean,
well,
those are
because
just the facts. I mean,
yeah, I mean, season 3 was one of the better seasons. It was better than season 2, but it's really kind of one of those factors of everybody knew it was coming, and they're being shotgun blasted with all these Marvel series, and so they're picking and choosing and hemming and hawing, and the other ones weren't that good, so they didn't know if they wanted to continue
Right.
watching. Defenders wasn't very good, uh, and so
What
there was some of that, but I think over time that one caught up, and the viewership didn't go down enough for Netflix to scoff at it. It was the fact that the reason the viewership went down was also because Disney pulled it, and everybody knew that Disney pulled it, and that they were shutting it down, and they were canceling all
right.
the future seasons, and so people were like, "Ah, well, we're done with it then."
And I think too, I mean, look, when I went back and watched season 3, um, they do somewhat reuse, certain tropes, right?
Yeah.
Like, Matt, has something happen. He doesn't want to be Daredevil and he has to find out the reason he needs to be Daredevil. And they kind of did that a couple times. They're
Yep.
doing it, again in this show,
Yep.
but also I just personally don't find the writing near as interesting or
No.
gripping. And also even the courtroom scene is rather nonsensical when you take a step back at it, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's a great courtroom scene. That's what we really want to see, in out of Matt Murdock. But the way he approaches it and them showing what a great lawyer he is almost uh it kind of laughable in a way, because he's hung up, right? He has no way to really win this case. They're losing, and then he decides to pull out the mask and tell everybody who the white tiger is, right? Which right then and there
Yeah.
he endangers this guy's family and his
Yep.
identity,
Yep.
and against anyone's judgment. But then on
Yep.
top of that, in order to win the case,
They burn a CI.
then they burn a CI. Then he just calls up a bunch of cops and people, and he's like, tell everybody what a good guy this is. Well, I mean, you could play that defense with any criminal, right? Like, no, he's done 100 great things, but it
Yep.
doesn't mean that person can't do one bad thing.
It
Now
doesn't mean
we
they have to pay for the one bad thing that they did. I mean, they
right,
still did that thing.
and we know as an audience what really happened. But if you look at it from the courtroom aspect of it, well, they're just taking this guy's word for it that this police officer slipped and fell in front of a train, and then on top of that, when they realize he's a vigilante, then you have to deal with those consequences. Instead,
Yep.
all we see is dude getting up, sitting on his bed, putting his outfit on, and then going out for another night's work. It was very
And
sloppy, in my
okay,
opinion.
but the stupidity of it all. Okay, you you're set free, acquitted, whatever. You're going home. You're gonna put that shit on right away and go back out on the street when everybody knows who you are and where you live. Uh, why would you do that right away? Why not let things settle a little bit or whatever? And
That was also an interesting kind of thing. I think obviously to play into the shocking ending of that episode, and
yeah, well,
it's
and then Matt confronts Frank in this episode.
yeah. And then that brings in a whole nother thing too with these Punisher cops, and then we're gonna have Daredevil thinking that Punisher did it, but then why would Punisher do it? It doesn't make any sense, and then they're gonna come to an understanding that he didn't do it, and probably rehash the same conversation they had on the rooftop
They
where he
did. Yep,
tells
they
Daredevil that
absolutely did.
you're one bad day away from being me,
Pretty
and
darn
then we're
close.
just right. So and that's some, I don't know. We'll see. I haven't watched it. I will watch it because I am
Yep.
interested. But
You you
it's
didn't come to me to find out if I did it. You came to me to know if you could do it.
okay.
I
So
mean,
that's the same thing,
yeah,
right? By the way, 3 Star said, I didn't fall asleep, Matthew. I got my nap trying to power through 1923.
dude, that last episode of 1923, I've been enjoying that show, but I can understand why some people might think it's slow.
Yeah.
But there was such graphic stuff that happened in that episode. It was really hard to watch, and the Timothy Dalton character, he's getting pretty evil, and he's getting hard to watch too.
I did want to say hey to Bobby Wold as
What's
well,
up?
sliding in here. Joe Fan 84 is in the house too. What's up, buddy? And I have not watched any of those shows at all. Any of the shows that end in a three. I haven't, and it's not for a lack of like I can't stand the writer or I don't like Taylor Sheridan. It has nothing to do with that. It's just I just have not watched any of those shows, so I know I can't really comment
Yeah, well, I would tell you
on
that
those.
Paramount Plus or that streaming service or Paramount in general will give Taylor Sheridan just about anything he wants because every
Right.
time he releases a series, their app gets popular because people are watching it because
Yep.
he creates gripping and intelligent stuff that he throws in there, and good characters, and
Hey,
I've been
yeah,
enjoying it.
it's a formula. It's worked. Turk Murphy's in the house.
What's
What's
up?
up? Yeah, the formula has worked for Taylor Sheridan and it will continue to work, right?
Yep,
Until he really hits a couple bombs, right? And that happens. It
yep.
will. I mean, and for 3 star, that's kind of 1923, right? I mean, for some people right now, that's Daredevil. For whatever reason, right? It is what it is. It happens. And I don't know the viewership of 1923, so that's why I said I can't really comment on it. I did quickly want to go over. Kind of wanted to go over the box office, really quickly while we're at it, and make sure that my screen sharing is going okay and not cutting my mic off again. And 3 star, yes, it happened right before we went on live.
Yep.
It happened a couple times, so now and knowing
Should
is
just
half
put
the
up the
battle.
the dog scratching his ear picture
Yeah.
when that happens next time.
So the Jack Quaid led Novocaine coming in at number one, with a $9 million gross for 4 days of release. Not so hot. It's if you look at everything really on this list, other than the Mufasas, right, and the Paddingtons, or the
Oh, I don't know. Lose him again. Lost his mic. Ah, yeah. I mean, the box office is all over the place. Nobody's doing wonderful. Mickey 17 will be up on uh, streaming in no time. Um, it's Yep, it's right up there for streaming pretty soon. Um, the box office needs a win, and I don't know if they're going to get it anytime soon. Um, they want this Snow White movie to come out because they want the Snow White to be good,
yeah,
and but it's not going to be good. But they need butts in seats. They need to sell tickets, and they're depending on this Snow White movie to be good,
yes,
and it's not going to be. Nobody I know is interested in it, and everybody. It's not just the movie. It's everything surrounding it. I mean, Rachel Zegler is probably the worst promoter for any property ever because she has turned everyone off from seeing this movie if they've ever heard her say anything. Even when
yeah.
they tried to lock her down and get her on a leash, but even today she was saying more stupid stuff. So
No, it's gonna be a disaster. Although we did hear, as I bring up and I'm gonna try this again, folks. I'm gonna do Firefox now. I'm gonna try to share my screen with Firefox. Let's see what happens. Golly, I mean seriously. All right, if it let's see. No, no, no,
yeah, I've
no.
I've, I've heard Chrome is giving people a lot of problems when they try to do
Evidently,
anything.
man, because like I am not kidding, dude. I am having serious issues whenever I try to share my screen. So we'll share this one from Firefox, and if it kills me out again, then I don't know that I'll be able to actually share
Hey,
anything.
Warchest, I got a question for you. Did you see the Swiss Army Man? I'm just curious because that's another movie that seems very much like this Novocaine movie that was.
Was that the one where Guns Akimbo? Do you remember that, or was it Guns Akimbo
No,
or
it
whatever? It
was.
was Daniel Radcliffe, and
Yeah.
he had guns like duct taped and nailed to his hands.
Well, yeah, sort of. Yeah. Hell yes, it was
So yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
War Chest says it was awesome.
it was
Um,
it was a very weird movie.
why in the world is my browser losing? Can you still hear my audio?
Yep.
Okay, for some reason my camera is crapping out and I don't know why. Let's see here.
But yeah, no, it was that was a weird, funny movie that I I feel like Novocaine could have been akin to that. Um,
Yeah.
I did finally watch the movie Troll, which is a Norwegian action kind of horror mythological movie that was pretty darn good. I've been wanting to watch that one for a while, so I'm glad I got to see that one finally.
Give me one sec, brother. I'm gonna
Yep.
reset my cam real quick.
All right. Uh, trolls waking up in the mountains and they're real, and then the people find out that trolls are real, and it was a lot of fun as you go through the exploration of science and discovery and the rationale that no, this is actually happening, and then what it actually means and how Norway was founded. And the only thing I didn't much like is that they kind of hint at blaming the Christians on what happened with the trolls, because the trolls can smell the Christian blood and will kill it, destroy it. They try to destroy churches and stuff like that. So, but other than that, I mean, it was interesting the way that they used the old fairy tales and brought all that together. So, if you have it, it's on Netflix right now streaming. You can watch it in an English dub, which is, in my opinion, terrible, but the translation is good, or the original language with subtitles, which I would prefer, because it just kind of makes more sense. There are English parts that aren't subtitled, but it was good, and it goes back to rare exports, and so I like these Norwegian films from time to time.
Man, the foreign film market is crushing the American film market.
Yep.
And I'm not one of those people that's in favor of giving the Oscar to a foreign film. I know that seems very normal now. It's very commonplace. It seems like, but I'm not going to say this year's Oscars, but in recent years, you are getting better films, especially out of like South Korea, for instance.
Yep.
And even some of the Bollywood stuff like RRR.
Oh, RRR was great. I
Yeah, I
love
mean
that
that
one.
this stuff is wild. I mean, and just the inventiveness and storytelling, right? And they don't have to adhere to these cultural abnorms that we've had to adhere to over here in our filmmaking and television. And
Yeah.
they're still making normal stuff, right?
Yeah.
Normal storytelling. I did want to go through this really quickly. The reason I brought up the Novocaine and Mickey 17 kind of back to back, and Mickey 17 sitting at about 33 million on 11 days. And I've heard Black Bag is actually pretty good. Captain America, 70% drop. Again, I mean it's getting about $166 a theater. But the reason I want to bring it up is because I actually wanted to, and I'm hoping, praying that it shares. But I wanted to share this article that I actually found, and it's on Rotten Tomatoes. But it's talking about back-to-back weeks where the top 10 produced less than 50 million.
Yep.
It's the lowest haul since last February. But you're talking about like, you know, Mickey 17, Novocaine. You're talking about movies that just aren't bringing in anybody to the theater. Now, of course, we are in March, right? So that's
Yeah.
understandable to an extent. But it doesn't really bode well even for the summer box office because the summer has to do a lot of heavy lifting to
Yeah.
try to bring these numbers up. And I think we're going to get to a point where if people are not going to the movies, which seems to be the case, I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
then we're gonna lose some theaters. Like
Yep.
we're gonna lose some theaters, and it's possible after we helped bring the theater chains back after COVID,
Yeah.
that it may not matter. Like
Yeah.
it may not matter. We may lose theaters, and at that point you start to, and I think part of it is every movie coming out either had to be a tent pole or it's not bringing anything. There's no mid level movies, and there's no
Yeah.
movie stars,
Yeah.
right? There's no real movie stars to drive these movies. You
What's up,
know,
Woody?
Woody Triple Deuce, what's going on? I mean, anybody in the chat, is there movie stars that bring you that you actually go to the movies? I'm not talking about streaming. Like you turn on a streaming service and watch something. Is there a movie star that would actually get you to the box office?
Right now, Timothy Chalamet.
I mean, you can name, one,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
right. I mean, there's a couple others that I'm like, okay, I'd go see them. I mean, Tom Cruise is still making quality stuff from what we've seen. I mean, despite the Mummy. Other than that,
Right.
um,
But I mean, you know what I mean, though. It's like
yeah,
it's there's just nobody, and I think social media has done such a disservice to the movie star. And
yeah.
we've
Well,
we've talked about it before, just the access to these folks, right? The access to their every thought has
yep,
been a terrible, terrible thing for
yeah.
their
The
publicists in
access
particular.
to the every thought of the vapid, malleable, empty vessels.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it really is. It's terrible, and I think it's contributed to the real decline. And then you also have a very risk averse movie companies, right? The risk averse of not wanting to make anything new. It's
Yep,
all sequels now. It's all reboots now. It's like
yep,
tried and true IPs that people recognize,
yep.
but they really don't care about anymore.
Yeah, I think Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon are gonna kick the crap out of most of the movies this year. Um,
Right. I mean, 3 star, nobody that I'm going to go see a movie specifically just for them, but there never really has been for me. It's just worse now.
yeah,
Ralph Fiennes and Jeremy Irons for Mendoza. I mean, those are the problem in Mendoza is those guys are what, mid to late 60s, mid 60s,
is
probably.
it? Isn't it Rafe? I don't know.
It is Rafe. Whatever. I'm not French, Matthew. War Chest says streaming is killing the theaters. They put movies out too fast. 100%.
Yeah.
They're putting way too fast on streaming and not letting them breathe at the movie theater. Rental business is definitely dead.
Yep.
That's for sure. And I agree.
YouTube live content's on the rise.
Yep, yep, yep. Well, and really everybody is going to everybody is watching YouTube, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's literally the new entertainment, whether it's TV or movies. Everybody's going to YouTube, and then if there's something that tickles their fancy, they'll look it up on Netflix. Word of mouth, really now, right? Don't you think
Yep.
word of mouth, even more so than ever before,
Yep.
is big when it comes to whether people want to watch something or not, whether they'll go
Absolutely.
and look it up or not?
Yep.
Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, I don't. People don't even trust. They don't even trust the reviewers, right? They don't even trust like the access media, and that kind of brings us to the Snow White
Oof.
screen early reviews, and see if I can bring this up in Firefox. Um,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Rachel Zegler's done everything possible to destroy this movie. So,
Okay.
all of the discussion and buzz and everything around it has not
And
been good.
and I agree with Joe Fan 84. I think a lot of people now they're just gonna wait. They're gonna wait, and then they're gonna go see a movie. So we have thoughts about this. The Snow White first reactions. Praise the remake. A big surprise. Rachel Zegler stuns in her Snow White debut.
So
Um,
what we know about this is, one, these are first reactions. These aren't actual reviews. The reviews are still embargoed. Um, and the headlines of these things do not match the content. Even before on Rotten Tomatoes, if you go back and look at those positive reviews, they aren't very positive. And
no.
when you get one reviewer that's like, it's a solid 3.5 out of 5. I'm like, it was solid. That's solid to you.
Oh yeah, and you also, if you want to, a lot of times you can go through all the trades and you can add up the number of times they use the word stunning,
Stunning,
or
yes.
or what's one of the not groundbreaking. There's about 4 or 5 phrases that you'll see in every article. They just regurgitate the same phrases
They have a
over and over.
transformative performance.
Yes,
They are
transformative.
stunning.
Um, yeah, it's just, but you'll see it. You could literally go through and find, let's say, 15 different articles about a movie or an actor in it, and you'll find the same phrase used like 10 out of 14 times, 10 out
Yeah.
of 15 times.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. So this was a LA premiere. Now, Disney has ramped down their premieres of this film. They've tried to keep it more hush hush. They haven't been promoting it as much because they know that Rachel Zegler has almost single-handedly tanked this film, especially with a particular part of their audience.
Yep.
And and so they've really toned down like the premieres and not made that big a deal about them. However, they did a private screening, and who do you think that screening was for?
It was for their most loyal sycophants.
It was for the people who are already going to give them an A plus plus, regardless of whether the film was any good. These are the people that get the goodie bags, right? They get
Yep.
the Disney shampoo, and they get the Snow White meat tenderizer, and they get the
3-star, definitely not those people, because those people weren't allowed to be in the movie because of Peter Dinklage.
yeah, right. Well, exactly. Unfortunately, and you're right. Little people did not. They were. They weren't stunning and brave. They got stunted. They got shunned actually.
Mhm.
And Viper Scout, Jay Astro in the house. What's going on, buddy? So anyway, so here's the problem whenever you see this and is whenever they do these private premieres and these screenings, um, you there's no way you can take the word of these access media people seriously. Talk about waiting to see, whether a movie is good or not. And I'm not saying anybody in this audience is going to go see the movie. My point being is that if there was ever a case that you would maybe wait to hear some word of mouth, it would be this movie in
Yep.
particular.
Yep.
Um, it the damage has been done, and you see it right here. This is what I love. Look, despite being an internet punching bag, Disney's remake of Snow White is actually mostly successful. I love that phrase.
Mostly successful.
Mostly successful. This is Matt DeGroot of Crooked Media. Now, have any of you guys ever heard of
Crooked
Crooked
Media?
Media?
That's a great title.
You ever heard? Yeah, well, and it's spot on, right?
Yeah.
Crooked Media. Never heard of it. Never heard of Matt DeGroot, but he's
Little
obviously.
self-referential. Is
Yeah.
isn't he the one that asked the question?
Well, that's the thing. It's okay. Look, I get it.
It's the
Bring it.
gayest movie ever.
Is it the gayest Snow White ever? So, Matt DeGroot says Rachel Zegler is an absolute star, and then in parentheses, most of the new songs are catchy and beautifully performed, and the visual palette is sumptuous and vibrant. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Gal Gadot had beautiful gowns. ... See what I did there? It's a solid 3.5 out of 5. So this is someone who says it was
Solid.
mostly successful. Most of
Solid.
the Zegler is an absolute star. Most of the new songs are catchy. Visual palette is sumptuous and vibrant. Gal Gadot had beautiful gowns, and it's a solid 3.5 out of 5. If those are the words of someone who got to see an early screening of this movie. There's another Paul Klein of Film Hound. I've never heard. I may regret saying this, but Snow White is solid. So he may regret saying this,
Yep, you will.
but Snow White is solid. I enjoyed the musical
It's a
numbers.
solid 5 out of 10.
He also enjoyed the Queen's Evil Bop. Zegler was great. Gadot was
Bop.
fun.
Bop.
It's
What's a bop?
I don't know. He says it's really the CGI
Oh,
dwarves that let the film down. The
uh,
choice is baffling. Okay, we
you know,
could give
okay, okay,
Paul Klein a history lesson on
yeah,
why the dwarves are a baffling choice.
yeah, okay, but let's go back to the bop. Do you know what it
It
is?
is he talking about Cyndi Lauper's She Bop?
Oh
Because I'd
yeah,
like to see
no,
Gal Gadot's She Bop.
yeah. Apparently, that is a kid's slang of today, talking about a promiscuous person who sleeps around
Oh,
with everybody.
so that's what the okay, all
Is
right.
that the queen, or is that one of the queen's sycophants that's around the queen? I wasn't quite sure about how they phrased that, but
He says I enjoy it, particularly the opening musical number and the Queen's evil bop. That's all it
okay.
says.
So is that the queen doing it, or is that one of the queen's sycophants that is a bop? I
I don't know these terms you speak of.
yeah, I don't
Um,
know.
so 3 Star says the cruel irony in dwarves not getting to play dwarves just because they were like, fuck it, we'll animate them. Yes, because Peter Dinklage made such a stink when he knew nothing about the film. He knew nothing about the filming of the film or anything about the production at all. He just heard they were making Snow White, and he made comments that they were going to portray the dwarves as dirty, stinky people, whatever, living in a cave or some shit like that. And he spoke out of turn, and they completely took it. And Disney was like, "Oh, they clutched their pearls." And they actually originally cast regular sized people in those roles, and there are photos. Now people have said, "Oh, those are stand-ins," but you can see the photos that they have of people following Snow White, in a meadow, and so then when the backlash came over that, then they decided to CGI the dwarves. So
Yeah,
it wasn't like they oh, well, we can't actually cast real little people, which then cost them the jobs that they could have had. That's 7 freaking jobs in a
yep,
big picture.
yep.
So real quick, I want to say hey to a Punk with Toys. He says hit that like button and definitely hit the like button, my friends. Bobby Will says I heard the little community is protest and are not going to see the movie, which reminds
Yep.
me of that scene in Bad Santa where he was saying, "Can you imagine all these little fuckers and their tiny picket signs?" Oh my god! Yes, what a great movie, by the way. And Jay Astro is too sumptuous and vibrant. I have to agree. I've not seen him in person, but I have to agree. Uh, yeah, Mission Impossible. It may kill
I
at the
don't
box office. The
know.
last
Have
one didn't do well, War
it
Chest. The
it
last one
didn't.
didn't do well at all.
And they did a lot of revamping with it, but have you seen Tom Cruise lately?
Man, he looks old.
He does not. He's a little puffy.
He
He
look
doesn't
he
he doesn't look like he was in top form.
he really does though. Like you're right, man. I've seen some recent video of him, and he's definitely it's catching up.
He needs to refresh his Thetan cleanse.
It's the Scientology stuff. He just needs to get back into
That's what I'm saying. He needs to
the
refresh
church.
his
Yeah,
Thetan
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes. He needs to put on his tinfoil hat and get back to work.
Yeah,
Yeah. How to Train Your Dragon will probably do very well.
yeah,
Uh,
I think so. I
and
think Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon are going to be
yeah,
some of the bigger box
I
office
agree.
this year.
I agree. Tron being a wild card, possibly, yes. Naked Gun will be a train wreck. I
I
agree.
I want
Toxic Avenger will come and go, and no one will care.
no one will care. No one ever cared back in the day. No one's going to care now. Yes, it's got a niche market. Yes, there are people who love that franchise, but and they look like they're paying homage to it, so that might be interesting. But Tron, I don't know. I haven't seen anything that's going to make me real super excited about it so far.
Yeah. I mean, hey, can I tell you my dirty little secret about the original Tron movie?
What's that?
I don't like that movie.
Oh,
I think that
we're
movie
not friends anymore.
sucks.
We're not friends anymore.
I think the original Tron is boring. When I was a kid, I liked the cycles,
Yeah.
but it's like without the cycles, there's nothing else in that movie that interested me. I'm just, just being real. I'm just putting it all out on the table, Matthew. That's all I'm
Hey,
gonna
you know
do.
what? I got super nerdy about it. I dove deep into that movie because I thought it looked really cool. I thought the
Yeah.
concepts were good. I love spotting the hidden Mickeys that are on the landscape with the CGI.
I
Uh,
mean, I get
and
it.
and I also love the technology that they developed for that. To the
Yeah,
way that it was
I
shot,
understand.
although it was miserable on the actors, it was really fascinating the way that they did it and how much easier it would be to do today. But it doesn't ever look as good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's well, listen, that spurred a whole nother conversation. A Pug with Toy says, I will not be protesting this movie, and I speak for little people. And he does speak with a very loud voice. He does. Uh, he had a good stream Monday night. That was a long. He got to the topic quick.
four
Actually,
four
he had
hours.
4 hours, but he got to the topic kind of quickly though. That was the thing, right? If only he had pre-orders to talk about yesterday. Instead, and folks, we discussed about going over the pre-orders, the fan stream. It's gonna take a long time. It is something I will be doing with Three Star Draw tomorrow on Sevens Wild on his
There
channel
you go.
tomorrow
Yeah.
night at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. So if you guys do want to hear our comments about the pre orders, our experience trying to get the pre orders and the fan stream and everything, then head on over tomorrow night to that show. We'll be talking about it. We've got a
Yeah,
considerable time.
I told Darren about what happened to me today.
Yeah, I did not hear that. He told me you told him,
Yeah.
but I didn't really dig into that
So
as
my
far as the pre-order. So why don't you give us a little bit about your experience today?
I've had Pulse Premium since Pulse Premium's been a thing. And it's free shipping or whatever. Now they've changed it to free shipping over items to $75 or more. So they've taken away the free shipping essentially. But anyway, it gives you early access to pre-order some very select items. And on the website, I was on a computer, I was on my phone, and guess what? My premium membership is active and valid,
Okay.
but the site wouldn't recognize it.
Were you on the app or were you on your browser?
Both.
Damn. Okay.
So yeah, it's put in a ticket. Didn't have time to call him today. I had too many other phone calls I had to make today. Um, so I'm going to get back around to it, but they owe me some money back because they have failed on every aspect of their entire website and everything else. So
Can I
I'm done with it.
can I ask you, and I want to know from people in the chat, what experience have you had with that app? That app is one of the worst apps that I've ever dealt with. It does nothing but flash over
Yep.
and over. It won't load anything.
So
You can't even change the page. You try to go to touch on it to go to something else,
yeah.
and it just does nothing. It flashes over and over. It like won't even work.
So I've got inside baseball on this app. Um,
Okay, okay,
as as I have a patient who actually worked on the original Pulse app and website, and he wasn't part of the revamp, but he knew the team that was coming in to do it, and he knew they were going to fuck it all up, and they fucked it up bad because before the revamp of the app, I could actually get things done on the app. I could get my orders in, and I had to. It was
I
easy to
I
use,
could too.
and
Yeah.
now it's utter shit. The website, the mobile app, it does not function at
Even the
all.
part where like if you and they have it on the website too, but where you have to in order to go look at orders placed before a certain time, you have to
Oh
go
yeah.
to a different section.
Yep.
Like, and Eric Thurman asking if what's up, Eric? Good to see you, buddy. Is asking is everything sold out? I doubt it, right? I
No,
mean, the
the
divers went out pretty fast, and that's
well,
I'm
they
shocked.
didn't actually. They did on Pulse, but they did
Okay,
not in Target. So
okay.
they stayed up. I don't know if they're still up or not, but last I looked, it was like 5 or 6 p.m. tonight my time, and they were still available. The snake armor that's going to be available. That's an item that some people are going to have to figure out if they really want or if they want to pay that much money for it. So
Right. I mean, the one thing I heard people talking shit about was the divers. Like more than Darkline, I heard
yeah.
people, oh, the divers are
Well,
stupid, and then they sell out, and I'm like,
yeah,
what?
yeah,
Now, I did get to order everything. I was at work. I had to set an alarm for 1 minute before the stuff went
yeah,
live. I went on Chrome and did it
yep,
through my browser, and I was still scared. And it's something Viper Scout says right here, says that, I've had few problems with the app. Today I had to re-enter my phone number 3 times, but other than that, no issues. But here's the deal. Having to re-enter your phone number 3 times, depending on, let's say, your Wi-Fi signal or your mobile data signal, and having to do that 3 times, technically might cost you being able to order something. I mean, just that time frame alone. I've seen
yep,
stuff go out that quickly. And then they're really terrible about sending out their notifications. Every time I
yep,
get a notification from them that the stuff is live or exclusives or live or whatever it is, it's like 11 minutes after it's gone up.
yep. So the snake armor has now been considered sold out on Pulse.
Um, yeah, I know Target. I mean, Breaker's the one that really pisses me off because I'm like,
Well,
how the
and
hell did that happen?
well, I mean, that actually took like 30 minutes or an hour. It actually took a little while for that one to sell out.
I was dealing with a flat tire, Matthew,
Well,
and a
yeah,
missing lug nut. Damn
I
it!
get it.
They
I
they
get it.
should know to wait on me.
Well, yeah, right. But I will tell you that like most of the Target exclusives, there's going to be enough to put them in the stores. And so
Yeah,
I
yeah, I know.
don't think there's going to be a problem because I bet you some of you will find them on Target clearance the day they come out with those divers or with with the
Right?
breakers or whatever.
Yeah,
And you never
you'll
know, you
find them.
might find that 7.99 grunt
I
figure
know,
again
I
because
know.
I got those 7.99 grunt figures.
So Bobby says, yeah, I need to come up with a drinking game every time Lenny says this is my all-time favorite figure growing up. So of course we got version 4 of Snake Eyes, right? Of course we did. And during the fan stream, he was like, well, this is our this is our favorite figure. And I'm like, no shit, Sherlock, because there's 147 of them. It's like, yes, obviously Snake Eyes is your favorite figure. How many versions can we get? Jesus. I will say version 4 is not my favorite by any means. And I told 3 Star this earlier on the phone. Every time I go to the flea market, I always see that stupid 12 inch one,
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
cloth 12 inch one, and those look so bad. And every time I see it, I'm like, there's that ugly ass Snake Eyes again. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. You son of a bitch. Hang
Yep.
on here. Let's
That's
let let's put you hi I want to put you here. We'll get
this
you. There we go. That's good right
this is
there.
my custom that I made. So this is the Alpha Commando,
Yeah.
and
It looks good.
I just painted the Alpha Commando,
It
and
looks good.
I didn't think that they needed to do much more than that, but I obviously they want to do a new sculpt and tooling and all that stuff. So
Right.
the new one, that one looks pretty good.
It looks fine. I look they have a way of making the classified versions look good. Figures that maybe you didn't like or you didn't think you would. You see them in hand or you see them and you go, okay, I can dig that. Dark Lawn is a figure for me that I will never, ever, ever, ever like. I
But
can't. I think it's hideous.
that sword he comes with is
I
awesome. I
don't
mean,
give a shit. Yeah, I know, right? I said that earlier. I said that to my cousin earlier on the phone. I was like, I don't care. He comes with that sword. Great. He has the jewel. He's Destro's cousin. Good. I don't give a shit. I'm like, that is one of the ugliest things I've ever seen in my life as a
I
figure. There's no uniformity to it. It's hideous.
yeah, I don't I I want to say that Matt shooting the Galaxy is a phenomenal photographer, and he makes all of these figures look so good. And he's doing his job because he's making some of the worst figures out there look good on
I'm with
camera.
you. I'm with you. I
So
agree.
he's
You
absolutely
know,
doing his job.
yeah. 3 Star says they didn't change the free shipping. You really need to call and raise some hell. If you have the opportunity, you definitely need to take you a couple minutes and try to get
Oh
a
yeah,
hold of them. Uh, but
yeah. I got my snake armors too. See, look, this is classified snake armor. Fits a
oh
figure
yeah, look at
right
that.
inside. The legs go in the legs, and they got this one's got magnets on it and stuff. It's really cool.
Viper Scout says, I just got the snake for my 3 3/4 display. What if Jay Astro says, what if Darklon's pants don't match? It's laundry day. Then you need to stay home.
So Viper Scout, you're going to put that massive snake armor in your 3 3/4 display. Are you going to make it the water robot from the cartoon? Because he'd be about that size compared to the figures, the 3 3/4
Right?
figures. So just like paint them all blue and look like he has water running through them and stuff.
So really quickly, 3 star. I thought about this earlier, actually. After on my way home, when I was thinking about the fan stream, and I was thinking about Dark Lawn and the cousins thing, I actually thought of that. It's funny that you mentioned that because I literally thought that. No joke. Uh, Eric Thurman has a 3D hooded Coco head coming soon. That's great. I'm sure there are plenty of people who can
Oh
3D
yeah,
print those bad boys for sure.
some of them are really good. I love the one
Yeah.
that I got for my Snake Supreme. It looks awesome.
Yeah, man. Let's see here. I did want to talk a little bit about the concerns with Superman.
Yeah,
And I did watch the video that you and I talked about from Den of Nerds.
yeah.
I did watch that video, and so I can fully understand exactly the context. So let me get this straight, and I'll let you fill in the kind of the rest of it here. Um, Superman was screened for executives, right? At Warner.
Yeah, so
Um,
it was a top level like board screening type of thing for the execs. Yeah,
right. And evidently this did not go over very well with the executives.
nope.
Half of them thought it was okay. The other half, including from what we understand, is David Zaslav was
Zaslav.
there as
Yep.
well. And so this screening didn't go well, and I'm guessing it's because it had to do with the dialogue, with it being a classic kind of James Gunn movie, so to speak. Is there a lot of
Yeah.
comedy in this thing? Is
Yeah.
there, and are they going to have to do reshoots? I mean, from what I understand, the trailer also was not a hit
Yeah.
as well.
Well, so from what I understand, the executives saw it on the screening and they had a lot of feedback saying this isn't going to work. And basically, it was because it's exactly what I said. This is the only thing James Gunn knows how to do, and that's make a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, an ensemble comedy piece. It's very lighthearted, and whenever you get to an emotional beat that might be important, he interrupts it with comedy. It's what he's known for. So
Yes,
there's
big
no
time.
value in the emotional charge that can happen in his movies because he always blows it off with something stupid. Um, and and this was what that Superman movie was, and so they had to rehash a lot of things. They've been doing reshoots since November, December, January, February, March. I think they are in several months of reshoots to clean things up. So they had to throw something out for the Super Bowl for a trailer, and so they stripped out all the dialogue, made sure nobody was speaking, because they're going to change all of that context or dialogue because they don't want anybody to know what kind of story's going on because they haven't figured that out yet.
Right.
So what we're going to see is kind of what we're seeing with Daredevil Born Again is we're going to see a Frankenstein movie where you have two different versions of the movie that were essentially made and they're going to smash them together and see what comes out. And this does not bode well because this movie has to knock it out of the park. It has to save movie theaters. It
Oh
has
my
to save
gosh.
moviegoers. This movie has everything riding on its shoulders right now, and
Right.
James Gunn's not the person to do it, unfortunately. So it's not going to do what anybody wanted it to do.
So so here's the thing. And in the chat, like, don't you guys think it's curious that we haven't really seen a lot of build up for this film? It releases July 11th. We haven't seen a lot of trailers. We haven't seen a lot of dialogue. We haven't seen a lot of story. We have nothing to go off of. We don't know anything about this movie. And all you've seen is, yes, they brought in Crypto, his dog. You other than that, like, we don't know anything about this film. There's no synopsis at all, or any kind of, hey, here's we don't know anything about it, and from a marketing standpoint, it's starting to run, starting to run a little late here on getting people prepped for this movie. It,
Yeah.
it it may be Superman, but look, I'm gonna ask my son real quick. Hey, son, you care about a new Superman movie?
Not particularly.
No, kids don't give a shit about Superman. You know who care about Superman? Guys that are in their 40s and 50s and older. Kids don't care about Superman. They don't give a crap. So they're not going to go see this movie. In order to get them to go see this movie, you got to get them excited about this movie. And if you're not promoting this movie and you're not giving anybody a reason to go see it other than it's Superman, and on top of that, the imagery in the trailer, there's no American flag. There's no, all you have is
Yeah.
this, sound of a guitar playing this mixture between, the original Superman soundtrack and the Snyder stuff, and that's it. There's
Yeah.
nothing to get this
Well, it,
excitement going for this movie. It's the strangest thing, and this is supposed to be a huge. This is supposed to be
well,
James
it's
Gunn's like big beginning to this
it,
thing.
it's really interesting to me because I wonder if this is actually the way things are in all of society, the way things work, whatever. These brands have been popular for 50 years.
80
They,
years,
well,
right?
okay,
70, 80,
I, I,
whatever.
I would say a solid 50 years. After that, it gets diminishing returns, and you don't see the same effect, right? When was the first Superman? Was it 36? Was it um
Oh gosh. I mean, you talking about like from a movie aspect or a
well,
comic
from
aspect?
comic book, yeah, when it hit the zeitgeist, right?
Yeah, I
So
mean, what?
30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So we're talking that's 80s, 1980s is 50 years. That was the
Right.
the peak resurgence of it. After that, it was a deconstruction, right? And so then you get
Yeah,
another. So then with deconstruction, you get 20 years, and then it's dead. It's gone,
right.
right? And you look at Doctor Who and Star Trek, and once they hit their 50th, it's like, okay, it's peaked already. It's done. And you're looking at Star Wars and all these other things. They could have continued and been good, but honestly, about 50 years is about all you have with a franchise before it starts being deconstructed or it falls apart.
You know what? And we've been through the deconstruction phase, right? That's very
Yeah.
popular. It's been very popular since probably realistically the 90s, right? Especially with comics.
Yeah.
That's when that period really hit, I think was in the 90s of deconstructing all your heroes,
Yeah.
right? And we've been in that phase for a long time. And so I think with this movie, the one thing people are going to want to maybe see is more of an uplifting Superman movie, more of an uplifting tone with it to make it more like the original, right?
Yeah.
Christopher Reeve. And again though, we haven't seen anything about this film.
Yeah.
Like and so then we get this, these are rumors about the screening for the execs and how it did not do well at all. And it doesn't surprise me because they're sinking a lot of money into this thing.
Right.
And we James Gunn is James Gunn, and he's going to do James Gunn things. That if you look at his film and his track record, what does he do? It's James Gunn things. It has comedy in it. It has irreverent humor, and it's. And I don't know if that's what people want, but the main thing is we've gotten no dialogue about this movie. We've got nothing about this movie.
We have not
Uh,
heard Superman speak yet as Clark or
no,
as Superman.
not
So
at all.
we don't know if he's doing
They
a voice
don't know
change or
anything.
or, or what he's going to sound like. Legend Series, what's up, man? Good to see
Yeah.
you. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, it's interesting, and Jay Astro saying that it's hard for movies to seem special anymore, and I can understand that. And also he says because what haven't we seen 50 times by now? I think there's only so many times you can reboot a Spider-Man, a Superman,
Well,
a Batman.
yeah, I get it, but people are always looking for that comfort zone. That's what entertainment is. It's that shut off your brain
Sure.
comfort zone of going there and knowing how it's going to happen, but seeing it play out because the acting is good, because the writing is good, because it makes sense, because it is the story, the hero's journey, or whatever of the old story tropes that actually work and have worked since the dawn of time and will continue to work, because it plays on the heartstrings, it plays on the emotions. It is the harmony of the way the human mind
Right.
works. Right, we want to see these beats, and this is why foreign cinema is kicking our butts, because they are sticking to the way storytelling has happened since Gilgamesh, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you take that hero story from Gilgamesh and you can apply it to anything else you want, and you modify this, that, or the other, some circumstances, some things, whatever, and it makes it more exciting and it's still engaging, because everybody still wants to see those things for the most part, right? Yeah, occasionally you want to dive down the deconstruction path, occasionally you want to see
Right.
something different, but for the most part, you want to see the six hero tropes, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and I think those will always draw people to the movies. But the problem is kind of what you were mentioning about with these IP, is that I think they have a shelf life to an extent. I think you can, eventually you have to create new art,
Yeah.
and that's something that's just not happening. And
Because
it's a,
they're stuck. They don't have creativity left because they haven't been under pressure to do it. So
I
they're just
also
rehashing and deconstructing things and calling that art.
I also feel like a lot of the talent, a lot of the writers, a lot of the people coming up in the film business now, whether they be writers, producers, whatever, directors, um, are not. I mean, I don't know. This is me saying this, but the talent level, it's different. It's not at the level that we've been accustomed to for many decades, and the way people come up in that
Yep.
industry, I
Yeah.
think
No,
is
that's
very
exactly it.
different now.
Yeah.
And
So you go back and you look at these comic book writers in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And who were they? They were war
war
veterans.
veterans, right?
Yeah. They were people that had traveled the world. They were people that you know, did great journeys. They were Ernest Hemingways, right? They went out there and they did stuff with their life and wrote about their experiences. Now you have a bunch of people who watch TV, watch YouTube videos, think that they've experienced things about war, about crime, about whatever, about traveling even, and they've never actually experienced them. And then they're told to write about it, and so it doesn't make any sense because they have no visceral knowledge of it, so they can't actually write about it accurately because
Right.
it's all second, third hand stuff. And so the writers that are coming up went to writing school to learn how to write, and they did all these schooling things that mean nothing without the experience to back it up.
I mean, just the life experience alone, and I
Yep.
think that's, and don't get me wrong, because people will say, well, different generations experience life differently, and I do agree
Well,
with that.
and
But
that's very true, but this generation refuses to go out and touch grass. They refuse to
and
drive cars. You know, there's a lot
and
of kids that are
also
doing that kind of stuff.
those differences may not necessarily be fit for every avenue, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it may not necessarily be fit for filmmaking and writing great stories, right? It
Yeah.
may be fit for something else. And that doesn't mean, I say it doesn't mean that's good, bad, or indifferent, but when it comes to this, that just may be what's getting the short stick, right?
Yeah.
Whereas when it comes to other things, then maybe those things are where they excel. But a lot of the people that are writing the scripts that are making these shows, they seem woefully underprepared, and
Yeah.
they really don't know how
Well, I mean, you remember
to
what happened
do
in
it.
the Star Trek writers' room, right? For Star Trek Discovery.
No, I
Okay,
know what
so
happened in a couple other writers' rooms, but
well, so
enlighten me.
in the Star Trek Discovery writers' room, um, they were having a discussion, and the discussion turned towards um, race relationships. And they're telling a politically charged story, so they're going to tell something racially motivated or whatever in the storyline. And so one of the more senior writers gets up and tells his experience as a black man in the South in the 70s, right? And the things that happened to him, and he used the words that they used then. And somebody was offended by it and reported it to HR and got that writer fired from the set because he was telling a story about his personal experiences.
Yes.
And they booted him, and it's like, he was furious, but at the same time he's like, fine, you guys crash and burn this all you want, I won't be a part of it, because that was at the beginning before it had totally crashed and burned.
Well, I think you're finding veterans having a lot of trouble working with newer people because
Yeah.
of the differences in what is accepted, like what is accepted criticism, as opposed to someone calling HR and saying
Well-
that someone is being aggressive towards them, right? It's being able to accept criticism from your boss as opposed to putting in a complaint against that person.
And so this person was telling a story from his perspective and his experience. He wasn't directing it towards anyone, right? Because is a black man who grew up in different times.
Oh yeah, no, I remember. Okay, yeah, I remember this. I remember when that happened. Yeah,
yeah, and so it's just frustrating to see how fragile these people are when they're realizing, okay, this is not attacking you, this isn't attacking anyone around you. This is a story about a lot of emotion and things that happened, and the language that was used, and the language you may feel is inappropriate, but guess what? It was of the time and place, and you have to understand that there's context to everything. And a lot of these companies are going to be coming under major lawsuits coming forward because of the illegal firings that took place when they ousted people for ageism and racial reasons. They fired people for racial reasons. And that is against federal law. And once you realize that a lot of these companies that were coming in saying they needed to do these things were actually violating federal law. And that's why a lot of the companies have turned heel on it real fast, because they realize, it is against the law.
A lot of them felt like they could get away with it because at the time everybody was swept up in just whatever.
Yeah.
And then you find out, after the fact that, there are repercussions for this, because it doesn't matter what race you are, if you are excluding people or firing people because of this, it doesn't matter what race they are. They could be white, could be Asian, could be, it's illegal. And you're right, what they were doing was illegal. And we found that it also altered the course. See, here's the funny thing. It alters the course of history.
Yep.
And when I mean history, even in entertainment, folks, it alters the course of a show that could have been successful. It alters the course of a movie that might have had a good script, or it might have had good direction, or the actors in it might have been, it does alter the course of history. We're not talking about groundbreaking, political history, but it still alters things.
There's got to be a meritocracy, right? You get promoted based on what you've done. And I understand you want to give somebody a shot. Okay, great. Give them a shot. Don't give them the multi-million-dollar top tier property and put them as lead writer on it when they don't have any experience.
Yeah, the keys to the kingdom when you've done nothing to earn those keys. Yeah, it's
you got to give them something small. Give them a chance, but they have to build up their reputation, and they're going to make mistakes. Good, they need to make mistakes on the small side, not the large side, because the larger side, it's your top IP. You got to make money on it. You can't put the newbie on top and in charge because they don't have the experience to know how to manage that situation.
Every now and then you get a very talented person that comes through, a young, talented person who's a visionary. It's rare. It's a generational talent. And every now and then you get a person like that come through that you do give the keys to the kingdom. But it's because you really can see that from a consensus, you can see that this person has everything it takes and is just better.
Well, not necessarily a consensus, but somebody sees that spark. Somebody finds Michael Jordan. Somebody has faith in George Lucas. Somebody has faith in Gene Roddenberry. and they create something magical.
But you
And
get enough people to see that,
yeah,
and then and then it's undeniable, right?
yeah, well, yeah,
It's like, okay, I'm not the only one seeing this. I need your eyes on this. What do you think about this person? What do
yeah,
you think? Should we give this person, you know, Quentin Tarantino? It's funny to think about funding like his first film or
yeah,
like a Reservoir Dogs or something. And it's like, should we give him $9 million to make this film? Shit like that, right? It's like that's the kind of money you're talking about, or back in the day, like giving
yeah.
someone, should we give this person a $17 million budget? It's like now it's like, yeah, let's do $28 million an episode for The Acolyte, and let's give
Yeah.
Leslie Headland, you know, $200 million to make this show. Sure, let's
Yeah.
just she's done nothing, but yeah, absolutely. Let's give,
Well, I
you
mean,
see what I'm saying?
I mean, you got to think. I mean, Kevin Smith leveraged everything he had to make a
Yeah,
$1,600 film, a
and
$16,000 film called Clerks.
Walt Disney leveraged everything he had on the original Snow
Snow
White. And
White.
if it
Yep,
wasn't a success, then there would be no Walt Disney World. There would be
that's
no
right.
Disney Empire that they can now ruin.
Yep.
Yeah, meritocracy, Eric, 100%. So I wanted to ask you, I wanted to get into something for a second because I was going to bring this up on Friday, and this actually got announced back in February, and honestly, I don't know who has actually gotten in, but I was going to talk about this Friday, and then I had technical difficulties.
Yeah, yeah.
But I wanted to ask you your opinion on the 2025 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominee list, and I wanted to ask you who you thought out of these artists, and anybody in the chat, feel free to say who you might think. So would you induct Billy Idol,
Nope.
Chubby Checker?
Probably.
He's only known for one song.
Well,
Bad Company.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Man, I got Bad Company was pretty damn good. A lot
Yeah,
of hits, a lot of hits. But I could understand. I'm not familiar with Mana. I believe it's a Latin band.
probably.
The Black Crows. You wouldn't induct Bad Company, would you induct the Black Crows?
I'd be more inclined to induct the Black Crows than Bad Company, but
All right.
uh,
Uh, Eric Thurman says Mariah. Yep, Mariah is on this list. Clint Jorgensen is in the house, and he says Oasis. Definitely. Would you induct Oasis?
I would not. No.
For me, I guess you're looking at were they influential? That's part of the equation. Did they influence a lot
I
of
think
other
I think
bands?
I think
Did they
Outkast
have?
had more of
Okay,
an influence
okay.
than Oasis did.
Yes, I
But
would. Outcast would definitely be on that list of
yeah,
making it for me, 100%.
yeah.
Soundgarden would
I
also be on that list for me.
I think so too. But I mean, you got Soundgarden, Pearl Jam. Um, oh, there was
Stone
another one.
Temple
Yeah,
Pilots.
STP. Yeah,
Soundgarden was the musicians'
yeah,
grunge band.
yeah. They were they did some cool stuff. But the one that stood out on this list to me the most, honestly, Soundgarden was up there too, but was Fish.
Yep,
I
Fish is on
I
here.
I really love Fish, and I mean they are bluegrass, weird, Grateful Dead
Oh
type of
yeah.
stuff, and I really liked a lot of the stuff that they did and they played with musically. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think Fish probably would get in, and they're also one of those nonstop touring bands, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Joy Division and New Order kind of smashed together, even though it's two different groups. It involves many of the same people,
yeah.
so they're kind of smashed together. Maybe in the electronic dance music category, influential in that it's a kind
Maybe.
of for me like a Depeche Mode in a way. Not the same
Well,
musically,
I
but
mean, I'd go back to them.
Right. Joe Cocker. What do you think about Joe Cocker?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that he was that influential. Maybe he was. I don't know.
Are you feeling all right, Matthew?
It's
What
been
a,
a day.
I'm feeling too good myself. The White Stripes.
Yeah, no.
I don't look. Jack White, very talented. I'm sorry, Meg. And I saw an article that was like, but Meg was equally a tour de force on the drums as Jack was on guitar. And I'm like, yeah, no. As a drummer, yeah, no, not so much. Uh, Cyndi Lauper to round out the list. Time after time.
Yeah. I don't get me wrong. I love all the '80s stuff, but
Oh, and we had a She-Bop reference earlier in this episode too, didn't we?
we did.
Damn, bringing it around, baby.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know what any criteria means anymore in award shows, or just kind of
That I understand.
self-congratulatory, patting on the back.
That
Uh,
I understand. Yes.
and while it's great to be recognized, it should not be the end all be all of anybody's
Yeah.
career to earn any of these awards.
I do want to see some of these in the chat, and I know like Eric Thurman said Mariah Carey. I would say Mariah Carey probably is definitely going to go in, and she was everywhere and vocally quite amazing. Now not so much, but back in the day, holy crap, man. Yeah, Clint Jorgensen says definitely Oasis. Menjoza
Oh,
says Billy
I
Idol.
got a bone to pick. I got a bone to pick.
Okay, okay, all right. Where are we at? Where are we going?
I sleep lengthwise, fish, hoist, um, uh, down with sin. Brother was a wolf man, or the
Whoa,
wolfman's brother. Sorry, the
that's a
wolfman's
terrible
brother.
condition.
Come on, man. Don't get me on that, because you can
See,
make
I
fish songs.
I can't. I can't. And but I understand and I respect those who can. Because there are many who cannot. So you are a special breed of person.
Well, you don't understand, man. I've got what, 3 or 4 fish albums that I used to listen to like just
All the
on
time.
repeat all the
Yeah.
time.
Hit that ganja.
No, never.
Yeah, I get
That
it.
wasn't me. That wasn't. I never did anything like that.
No, that was not you.
As my brother-in-law, but he gave me the discs.
Look, listen, I get it. We're not admitting anything on this show. I'm not admitting anything. I'm just kidding. Oh my God. So 3 stars says, hang on. Let's see. Love will tear us apart again. Is that New Order? Is that Joy Division or New Order? Wood is the best grunge song. Mendoza likes STP. Wood is a great grunge song, that's for sure. That's a jam. 3 star says Chubby Checker, Outcast, and the White Stripes are the most
Mm.
influential for sure, and especially if you're someone who likes to do the twist. Um, Eric Seen Fish, New Order belongs. Turk says I'd like to see Ween make it one day. May very well. Um, let's see. Meg White is not the best. You got that right, Turk. Cyndi Lauper was great, but not influential considering all the pop acts of the era. That's for sure. She was
Yeah.
influential in the WWE, though. I remember those days. Captain Lou Albano played her dad in the videos and stuff. Remember that? Girls Just Want to Have Fun and Goonies. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yep. Oh, that was a funny video.
Goonies.
Yeah,
Oh God, let's hope they don't make Goonies too.
they're trying.
Yeah, I know. It's a shame. Really not having it. So I was gonna bring up a
Nah,
uh, a
nah.
story about Jonathan Majors because
These people really want him gone.
well, here's the deal though. Did you see this? That just yesterday, on audio, is heard admitting to having aggressed Grace Jabari during their 2020 fight.
Yeah.
In the audio, it says he said, "I've never been aggressive with a woman before. I never aggressed a woman, and then I aggressed you." She says, "You strangled me and pushed me against the car." He says, "Yes, all those things are under aggressed. Yeah." That's never happened to me. She says, "Because I said something sarcastically in your eyes." He said, "Well, clearly it's more than that. Something inside of you." And he said, "Yeah, towards you." Basically, so after, holy crap,
Woohoo!
what
Win
is
big
that?
money.
The reason I had an article brought up, and I was going to talk about because it was obvious that he has a publicity team that is trying to get him back in the good graces of
But
Hollywood.
they don't want him.
And at first I thought, okay, this may work. He was just recently in the magazine Dreams, I think is what it's called, about a bodybuilder, right? And supposedly has done very well, great part. However, I read this article. It was on a major. I had it saved, but I can't share it now because it'll crash my thing. But and you could tell they were trying really hard. But that article was from like 3 or 4 days ago, and this just broke yesterday.
Yeah.
And he even talked about returning to the MCU and to the role of Kang, which obviously is
Nope.
not going to happen.
Nope.
But now, since this has come out, man, it does not look great.
Well,
Now,
I'm just putting it out there. Whether the guy's a scumbag or not, that's something. But it kind of feels like this guy's got dirt on somebody or something, because they're bringing the guns ablazing every
man,
time to come for
yeah,
this guy. They want him gone. So
yes.
there's something else going on, and whether he's a scumbag or not, I don't agree with his behavior on any level, and he deserves to pay for that. But how far that goes, I don't know. But clearly, people want him out of the picture.
I mean, that's very, very true. It's, and again, like I said, I saw this. So right here, yeah, like the Hollywood Reporter, I think is where I read the actual article.
Yeah.
And this magazine Dreams movie, which supposedly he's very, very good in, but it got shelved by Searchlight Pictures.
Yep.
Then a small distributor picked it up, and then you kind of started to hear a little buzz around it, recently. I know some of the people we watch have talked about it.
Yeah.
And so he had this magazine article with Hollywood Reporter, and then all of a sudden, this comes out,
Mm.
and it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. As I thought maybe there might be a chance, not of him returning to the MCU, but I thought there
No.
might be a chance of him maybe at some
Uh,
point returning into Hollywood. But you look at somebody like Mel Gibson, that guy's paid a heavy, heavy
well,
price.
I mean, but he'll step in it again at some point for, I mean, that's just kind of, I think he's learned a lot, and so maybe he won't, but
Right.
there,
Yeah.
there's always there's these deep seated things, and they may agitate him someday, and they're going to come out again. Uh,
Yeah.
Back on the music awards thing,
Yeah.
um, it was the most disheartening thing that I've heard in a very long time is what Gary said this afternoon. I didn't know this, but I had a feeling it was happening. South by Southwest was one of the greatest music festivals of all time.
Sure.
They had some of the greatest bands there, and now it's owned by the Hollywood Reporter. I mean, the company that owns the Hollywood Reporter, and
Okay.
all these other mega corporation media conglomerates have purchased South by Southwest, and now they're phasing out the music in South by
Oh no.
Southwest.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So they are phasing out the music, and in favor of the pop culture media extravaganza. So movies, television, um, other forms of media that they're going after,
Oh
and
wow.
they're almost cutting ties with the music industry because they're having fewer and fewer bands come into it because they just there aren't any. It's all synthesized. It's all AI. It's all fake. They have nobody who can actually sing anymore, and anybody who's any good is a rehash of Led Zeppelin or whatever. I mean, I like those
Sure.
guys. Don't get me wrong. I
No,
like those
I
kids are good,
understand. No, I understand.
but it's there's
Yeah.
nothing truly original coming out of it because somebody cracked the code in the early 2000s for the mathematical formula for hit songs, and they programmed it into an algorithm back then, and they were using it to write pop music, and now it's being programmed into AI, and so
Oh yeah, no,
the AI
it's
matrix has this mathematical formula, and then we can go into cold slither here if you want.
yes, yes, yes. Uh South by Southwest clarifies changes to 2026 music conference. It says that the festival is reconfiguring as the Austin Convention Center is set to shut down for renovation. It's going to be 2 days shorter. Um, it will feature an additional night of music melding the film and television programming. Um, yeah, it says right here, participation in the music festival has reportedly been dropping since the 2010s when the average band count peaked around 2000. This year's edition reportedly saw 1,012 bands showcasing,
Yep.
which I think is definitely speaks to, in my opinion, the music industry. In honestly, in the state that it's in right now, and the fact that I don't think there are as many bands. There's not as many marketable bands. Now, 2,000 bands at a festival, that's a lot of bands that you never heard of. But my point being is that the record companies, like you talked about, the record companies really don't care about promoting artists and nurturing people to be the best that they can be within the business. It's
Yeah.
literally it's just super commodity driven now,
Yeah.
and they don't care
Well,
about
and so
about creating quality
I don't.
music anymore. It has
So
nothing to do with that.
this is who owns more than 50% of South by Southwest. Penske Media. Penske Media owns Variety, Rolling Stone,
Okay, yeah,
Billboard, She, Sportico,
yeah.
Deadline, and the Pavilion.
Collider, Kuna.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they own a lot of the media coverage that we're
Yeah,
getting into. They if it's not owned by Rupert Murdoch or um, George Soros, it's owned by Penske, right?
right.
So it's this corporatization of things that have been happening forever, and it sucks.
Yeah, it does. I agree. And I think it's a shame, but and that's why you hear people talk about, hey, music was better but music
Yep,
was better in my day. Music was,
yep,
and people all the time, oh, you're the old man, but it's like, well, look, I'm sorry, but again, take a band like Bad Company.
yep,
Take a band like Foreigner. I don't give a shit like how many hits, but on top of that, you say, well, I don't care about all those songs, but at the same time, they're quality songs. They have quality musical parts. They have quality harmonies. They have melodies that are singable, right? Sing along to. That's something music desperately is missing now. Is
yep.
songs that just people in general can hum, can sing along to. A lot of the artists try to impress you with vocal acrobatics, and they're not simple rhymes that people
Right.
can sing along to, and that's very crucial for the masses in particular. It's but that's a whole nother shit. Don't get me
Yeah,
started in that.
I know. We
So
could go
so
forever.
let me know if the sound comes through on this because again, with me using Firefox, um, I want to make sure, let's see here really quickly. I just want to make sure that I'm able to also share tab audio. Okay. So let me know if you can hear this. And I don't think we'll get copyright struck, will we?
Well, I don't know. It's AI corporate generated music, so you never know.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is a song. So is this coming through?
I don't hear it. I don't know what the chat does.
Anybody hear anything? I'm
I'm not.
scared if I share Chrome, it's gonna go. It's gonna
Yeah.
blow up. I can give it a
Yeah.
shot.
I'm not. I'm not. I didn't hear anything. But
Let's see.
nope. No
Nope.
sound. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's why you want to use Chrome, folks. Well, I did press play. See,
Yeah. Yeah. And there was nothing coming through. But
you hear that? Didn't think so.
yeah.
After pressing play. So,
So my first comment on that video was, I thought this was supposed to be metal and not a lullaby. Yeah, it seemed like it was about half speed from what it should have been. It was so slow.
I tell you what, look here, I'll give it my best try. I'll give it the college try. If my camera cuts out or my audio cuts out, then it is what it is. You know why. And it probably will if I had to guess. But here you go. I'll play you a little bit of it just so you crazy kids
Hey
can
man,
hear it.
I'm just speaking truth there, Darren.
I know, right? All right. Share screen, Cold Slither, music video. Here you go, you crazy kids. I know you can hear that.
Cold Slither, you'll be joining us soon. Bound to vipers, playing our tune. But iron fist, in a reptile fist, we shall rule. But down birds, we've heard it before. We're not gonna play the game no more.
What do you think? What do you think, Matthew? Are you hyped?
Man, I just wish it was. I wish it was at least 75% faster. If it was, I'd be all down with it. I love it, but it doesn't have the right beats for me. I'm used to speed metal. I want my metal to be like
Right.
speed metal. You know?
Okay, I hear you. Now, can I
Eric Thurman.
what did
Oh,
he say
yeah.
there? What does he say?
Joe Fan, I think the original was better. Eric is like, it's awful. Joe Fan is the original was better. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'm about to play you the original. All right, so here you go.
We're Cold Slither, you'll be joining us soon. A band of vipers playing our tune. With an iron fist and a reptile's hiss, we shall rule. We're tired of words, we've heard it before. We're not gonna play the game no more.
So what do you think? What do you think?
And that one seems like it's at least 25% faster than the one that we were listening to. I don't know what it is. It just feels slower on the new one.
It does. I would tell you, tempo wise, it's probably similar.
I'm sure it's similar. I'm sure they tried to match that.
They
but there's-
may detune. They may actually have taken the key down from
maybe that's
the
it too.
original. I think
Yeah.
that's also they took a key down, so they went
Okay.
down, and that's why the vocal part is in a lower key.
Yeah.
So it actually gives it a slower feel because it's in a down key. If I had to guess, now I could go through. I'd have to go back and match it up, but I could probably figure it out pretty quickly. But that's what it sounds like to me. It's in a different key.
Yeah.
And because it's in a different key, it feels slower.
Yeah.
But I think the tempo is very, very close.
Okay.
Just from my opinion.
And Bobby, I listened to everything on 2X. So if I listened to it on 2X, it would probably sound the way I wanted it to.
I will say this.
But I did slow this down to listen to it the way it was presented, because when you listen to music, you want it to be presented in the fashion that the artist wants it to be heard. But
and I'm gonna with the sound kind of down in the background, but I'm gonna play the video anyway.
yeah. So I sent you another video that was released today.
Okay.
By Destro is my spirit animal. And
Okay.
today he dropped a video that is VH1 behind the music, Cold Slither.
Oh wow. Okay. Now is that pretty long?
Well, it's a VH1 special, so
Okay, so
it's several minutes long.
I'll check that out. I'll check that out when we get done.
And,
Destro is my spirit animal.
yeah, I
It'd probably
emailed
be
it to
worth
you.
checking out.
Yeah, I emailed it to you, and if you watch the video, it's good. He does action figure stop motion, so to speak.
Yeah.
When he interviews the band, ipso facto, their one breakout hit, what they got blamed for, and it's pretty good. It's a very good VH1 special on Cold Slither. So check it out.
There's the link, kids. There's the link if you want to watch it. There's the link for it. Check it out. I'll check it out when we get done here. I do appreciate the fact that they made a music video, and and look, they did really cool with the.
Do you know who made this music? Who made the song?
No, I have no idea.
Oh shoot! It's I had it pulled up. It's Ragin' something.
Lenny and the Lindsters.
No. It's
Just kidding.
There's a whole website that does underground metal stuff, and so scrolling through there, they have legitimate metal bands that they produce music for.
Okay.
And so they had the Cold Slither takeover this week. And so then they released this video with it. But, I don't know if you guys know Gothard. They've done a version, a metal version of Bob Dylan's Quinn the Eskimo, which is the basis of Quinn the Eskimo Inuit from G.I. Joe.
Okay.
It's a Bob Dylan song. And they did a metal version of it, and it's really good. And they're like, they're a Norwegian, Swedish, maybe metal band. And so they're still producing albums, and they did it through this group.
Well, look, I think the song is fine. Am I partial to the original? Well, because of my childhood, right, and watching that cartoon over and over and over again. But I will say that they are pretty close. Just this new version, the singer's not singing as high. I don't think, but and that's the other thing too, right? You got the original voice actors of the the characters singing the song. So you put that together with the characters, and it just hits different, But I like it. I think it's cool. I'm glad they did something like this to go along with the figures. It's fun.
Rain in Phoenix music. So REIGING. So it's Raging.
3 stars. Got it right there in the chat. Yeah.
Raging Phoenix music, and they did that. And they're on IG. They have their website. They actually, like I said, they produce metal albums for some people. So yeah,
man. I love the packaging though on the Cold Slither figures. I love the figures themselves. It reminds me when I walk into like Target or Walmart and I see those Kiss figures in the 4-pack with the drums and the guitar and the whole, or whoever, right? They've got different bands. It reminds me of that. But I love it. I mean, I've definitely, the reason why we're getting it in the first place is because I asked for it.
Right, of course,
on a live stream. You do that all by yourself. I wished it to happen.
Yeah,
and that's why we're getting it. And everyone should thank me. At least hit the like button. Just if anything else, hit the like button. But I'm glad we're getting it, man. I think it's fun. Now, I will ask you about the pre-orders today, just to ask you just a little bit about it. Obviously, you had an absolute disaster with that. But out of what they had today, what for you would you be looking most forward to?
I kind of liked a lot of what they were doing, but I got to get Footloose. I got to get some Snake Armor. Those were my biggest priorities. Blowtorch will be good.
Yeah.
I don't have much interest in the Frag Viper. And who's the other one? Law and Order. Definitely Law and Order. That's a must.
Yes. Yes.
Darklon, I don't know. Frag Viper, I don't know. I'm really waiting for Night Vipers. Night Vipers are coming, and I can't wait for those.
Yeah, 3 stars want that Dark Lawn figure for
So
sure.
so since Pop doesn't want that, does it that make him Destro and you Darklon? I'm just curious.
Right. See, that's the way it should be. And I'm also older too, so
Okay,
you know.
and 3 stars known for mismatched clothing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm the older, McLaren. Uh, yeah, just I mean, I think the Frag Viper's kind of goofy. The whole idea of it is goofy.
Yeah,
Uh,
and now that he's a cyborg and like
yeah,
half dead or resurrected or
he
whatever,
is an android.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, there were some things in the early '90s that I appreciated. Frag Vipers really weren't one of them.
no, no, Footloose, give me that Footloose, fancy free.
Hey, Footloose looks great.
Footloose could dance in my town anytime.
And I'm gonna have to get the Mastivice ones. The Mastivice ones, that's kind of a big deal. I want that Mastivice. I want them to finally
Oh,
put out a
sure.
Mastivice. So yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know if that's gonna happen though, man. I don't know. I
Oh,
don't. I just don't see it. Like I don't know why. I'd be cool, but I don't know. Now, what was your on the snake armor? Did everybody in the chat have an idea? Did you have a guess on what the snake armor was gonna be like price
yep,
wise? Do you remember what we said?
yep, yep. And I think we were kind of close. I
I
was
need to
I
go
was
check the tape and see what I can't remember what I said.
I was hoping for 60. Um,
I might have said either 64.99
yeah.
or maybe 74, but I don't think
Well,
I wanted to go up to 80 something
yeah.
though.
I mean, if you said 74, you're right on the money.
Yeah, but I don't remember.
I wanted it to be around 60. I figured it would probably be around 70, 75. I was hoping that that's would be it.
Without a figure,
A lot of people were pushing that 100. Some people were pushing above that. I go, no, it's not going to be above that. You look at the Hulkbuster armor and what that was. You look at the Hydra Stomper, and you look at those types of things and what they've done with
yeah.
those, and you can kind of see where it's going and know that there's not a licensing fee that they have to pay, so it can be a little bit better. If you look at the articulation that Lenny's got on that thing, it's pretty sweet. The way that I mean, the robot's got like butterfly joints and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, the snake is sold out. Even though, and that's so fun. This is why you cannot, because look at this. Right beside it, it has the diver and Cobra Diver, G.I. Joe Diver. Sold out is the red button right beside it. It shows it's sold out.
Yeah.
Here is the snake, okay? Snake armor, green little dot, says
Ah,
pre-order, okay?
it was
Click on
sold.
it.
It was sold out.
Oh, it is
Okay.
sold out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
how what like that's why? Like what's the difference? It's sold out. This is sold out, but yet you have the little red button immediately telling you, "Do not click on this if you want to buy it because you
Yeah.
can't get it." And yet the snake
Makes me
armor
wonder
is
if you
sold
can go
out.
click on that sold out one and not be sold out.
It's you know what I'm saying though? Like
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah. Their website's been broken
God
for a long time.
bless it, man.
And they just can't seem to get their ducks in order on it.
I mean, it's just I don't know, man. You just think you're like, how many companies have a tech person, an IT person, a person who just runs their damn website or their app,
Yeah.
right? And is that person making $8.50 an hour and
Well,
getting free Chick-fil-A for lunch?
so I will tell you, based on the person that I know, they outsource it, right? They hire somebody
Yeah,
else
oh,
to do
for
it for a little
sure.
while, and then they
Yeah,
get rid of them, and they get somebody
yeah,
else, and they just go back and forth between different people. And a lot of people will tell you that they churn and burn people.
right,
Hasbro's been a little bit better than Disney, but not really much better than what Disney does with burning people. So
right. Look at this weird son of a bitch. Look at that guy. He's something else, isn't
look
he?
at the glory of that Jackson Pollock painting right there. I mean, come on, look at that. It's pure art, man. Can't you
Just
see the art
looking.
in it?
It's a joke.
I mean, somebody sneezed and there you go.
Oh, but he's got the sword. Look,
Look at that sword.
you can do that with the sword. You
Look at
can
that
do that.
sword.
You can do that with the gun too.
You seen the Savage Crucible swords that they've got, man? Those things are
Oh
freaking
yeah.
rad.
Speaking of, what did you want to look up? There's some drops coming. Savage Crucible,
Yeah,
and so I want to look it up so you can talk about it because you do have
so
some drops coming up on the Jada Street Fighter figures coming up and
yep.
Savage Crucible. We'll hit the Savage
And
Crucible first before we get out of here.
for Zeta Girls icon collectibles or something like that.
Okay.
So there's a friendly rivalry competition or you know, they're trying to bash each other over the head. I don't know, but the Frazetta Girls has hooked up with these icon collectibles, and they've been making the Dark Wolf and the Tigra, and they're going to do a Conan figure, and the Conan pre-order drops on Thursday, and then on
Okay.
Friday, Savage Crucible, Harbinger Studios, Savage Crucible drops their Death Dealer, and
And
Death
that's
Dealer was the artwork presided from the Frazetta Museum, run by Frankie Frazetta Jr., and he has presented them with the artwork and and the things that they can make from the Frazetta artwork and what they can call it. Basically, what Frank Frazetta had named the art pieces is what they can call it. So this is Death Dealer, and it'll be a nice figure. It'll be an incredible figure. If you have the Savage Crucible, you know those figures are highly articulated, highly detailed, wonderfully sculpted figures, and this figure will be no different than any of those. And they have the ball and chain that's coming soon from the Barbarians line, which was also a Frazetta piece. And this one will be far cheaper than the is it Loose Collector or whatever. They're doing another Death Dealer for $350, and it's got him on the horse. And they're talking about new articulation and stuff, but in general, their stuff has not been highly articulated, not like Savage Crucible. So
yeah.
I'm down on this one. This one's going to be my birthday money for sure.
Nice.
And the Frazetta Girls Conan figure, he looks good, but I don't like the articulation that they're using on those figures that they've come out with, and they're not really changing them for that Conan figure that they've got coming.
Let's see here.
I will tell you, 3-star. I know the guy who made that diorama display that they have been using with all the skulls on it, and there might be a way I could get you one. I'm just saying. I know the guy who makes them.
I was trying to see if I could find the collectibles.
So if you look up the Frazetta Girls
Here we
Conan,
have
those are the other ones that they've got going on there. It's on their Instagram. It may not be up on the site yet because it doesn't drop for pre-order until Thursday, and then Friday is the Death Dealer.
well, I do like
They're Vampirella. Yeah.
I do like that figure. I sure do.
I mean, like I said, it's not that they're making bad figures.
Yeah.
But their Tigra had some QC issues, and they all have articulation limitations that I don't really appreciate. I like a little bit more articulation in my figures, but it comes with a bunch of extra stuff.
Here it is right here.
There you go.
Is
That's
this,
it.
Yeah, there
Well,
you go.
yep. And so that's the Frazetta Girls one, and I mean it's a straight up Conan, the Barbarian from
Right.
the main artwork, the one that Mezco did on the front of theirs, and the way they designed their figure. Whereas the Mezco one is a true 1/12, this will be slightly larger, closer to a 1/10, but somewhere in between. So
Okay.
he will scale better with classified figures and that kind of stuff, but he's going to have the limited articulation that those other Frazetta Girl figures have.
So this is weird. Like, share this tab instead, damn it. There we go.
There you go.
Yep. That's so interesting. Anyway,
And I don't know the price point on this one, but I assume it's
okay.
probably going to be comparable to what Savage Crucible is dropping with their Death Dealer. But again, the articulation is going to be vastly different. And quality wise, I know Savage Crucible quality. I have not held one of these figures in my hands per se. That the Frazetta girls have been producing. Some people love them, but like I said, I've seen QC issues with Tigra.
So, you also talked about some Street Fighter
Oh yeah,
figures, and I was trying to
three
find
star.
those
I
as
I don't
well.
I don't know the price of the Death Dealer. I assume that if you get it on a pre-order, it will be like $50 and it'll be $70 at retail. Probably that's the way Ball and Chain I think is working out. So that pre-order drops on Friday. I don't know how long it's going to be open for. So that
Let's
might be
see.
your opportunity to get in on that. Now this is a player two Fei Long deluxe figure that drops on the 28th of
Okay.
March, and he's got extra hands. He's got the O face. He's got nunchucks. Um,
I was trying
he's
to
a
see if I could search it and find it in as far as
it's not going to be on their site per se, other than some of those images. The promo images again are on Instagram, and in
okay.
Reddit and stuff like that. Um,
Uh, so what should I look up? Uh,
I
Jada
mean, yeah, you can look up Jada and then
Jada
find
Toys on
Jada Toys,
Instagram.
and then you can
Uh,
probably find the
Street
Fei
Fighter
Long drop.
10.
And to be fully transparent, I saw some
Ooh,
images of this a while before that it was announced, and everybody said these are Reddit leaks, and people are saying that June was talking about it. And I said, "Show me the link. Where's the link?" And this guy jumped down my throat and called me an idiot and all this other stuff. So I'm just asking for links. I'm asking for proof, right? I haven't seen anything
right.
legitimate. If you could show me something legitimate, then I'd be all excited about it. But until Jada actually releases something publicly, I'm not going to get excited about it. And he was calling me an idiot and everything else. And then he says, for all those people doubting it, I said,
What?
it's like, I was just looking for proof. I just said, show me the links. Show me where officially it said it, not Reddit, not some random person talking about it, but an actual link, an actual product thing. And they're like, these are known about for a year. We knew about this a year ago.
Right.
I'm like, well, good for you. But I
So
try to substantiate my sources.
yeah. So
And
is this the newest drop here with
no, that's the first drop.
that's the first one. Okay, because I was
That
gonna
is
say this looks like the first one.
that
Then
is
you
the
have
first
people
one.
posting from 2 days ago, three
Well,
days
so
ago.
so they have re-released all of those figures to be put in Walmarts now that they have a deal with Walmart, even though they have a
Mm,
blue Guile figure that's coming out as a Target exclusive, because that makes
okay.
sense. Because he's a Cobra operative now.
I'm trying to find their like what their but this is like 52 weeks ago.
So the only place that I actually saw it was the email that I got from Next Level.
Oh, okay. All right.
I thought that I thought other places had done it too.
I tried looking it up. I was to see if I could pull up some pictures, but
You might look up Toy Shiz.
uh what'd you call me?
Exactly.
All right. We'll go there.
Let's see if he's got it up, because
Uh on
he's
on
usually does it.
on Instagram,
Yeah.
maybe?
Yep.
All right. Let's scroll down. Keep on scrolling.
Well, he's got a lot of stuff with the Joe stuff right now,
Got
but
yeah, I got a lot of stuff here. Uh keep on scrolling it. Whoa. Oh, look at that. Let's see. Well,
no, I don't know. I know I scroll through so much stuff. It's hard to.
oh, sure, man. I mean, there's at least one image right there, right? That's
There you
is that the
go.
new one? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so you've got the two standard heads that he came with before, and now you've got the O face, the nunchucks.
oh, oh, oh.
You've got the open hands that are like this, and then the fists. Those were the
Yeah.
standard ones,
Yep,
and now
yep.
you've got the open hand, and then the nunchuck holding hands, and the effect is the same old effect that came with the first one.
I do like the fact that you have the where with the articulation on the shoulders where you can actually move the
Oh yeah,
shoulders
it's
inward,
nice.
right? And you're not just bound by just the on the side, right? That it actually is movable inwards and probably back, I'm assuming.
Three star. I'm going to say Walmart's just now got the contract, and I've only seen in the past week that some Walmarts actually have Jada in the stores. So you're going to see more Jadas popping up at Walmart's. I don't know if yours are going to get them or not, but more of the Walmarts are getting them because the contract was just opened up last week. So they've got to take some time for distribution to get them out there. I'm sure you'll see some eventually.
Um, so really quickly, I
And then
came across.
the blue guile.
Oh yeah, well that's why I can't find like as I type them up. You know what I mean? See, here's the problem, y'all. So and definitely duct taping this show together because without my stream deck and I had a lot of these links and a lot of this stuff saved and I can't use it because it crashes my mic and my browser, my camera. And so yeah, so a little hamstrung tonight. So if it's moving a little, say slower, or I'm having to try to look stuff up, that's the reason why. Normally I'd have it at the ready, and I would have had this saved because you gave me the heads up through email and text messages and stuff. But unfortunately, I've been kind of hamstrung a little bit. Okay, there he is.
And
There he
this is Cobra Operative Guile.
If I can get it, this is let's see. There we go. All right. It's actually a YouTube video, but
Oh,
I'm just gonna to share it. This guy right here.
yep.
Yeah.
I think those colors pop. I think they look great. And like I said, I think he works great as a Cobra guy. So if he was going to be Cobra, I'd have him put a big red circle and line through the American flag if he was working for Cobra. But
Yeah. Dude, look at that hair. That's massive. That's amazing.
my biggest issue with this figure is that it is exactly the same. It's exactly the same as the standard release figure, except for the colors.
Right.
And those colors pop. I do like those colors, but it's like I don't know that I have a reason to do it again on that one, unless it's a deluxe figure and comes with something else special like the kick effect or extra hands or the beat up face. But I just hope June is going to make a beat up head pack where it takes all of their game over faces and just gives you a whole head pack of all the game over faces.
Yeah, I mean they look good and you know you guys basically rave about them. I hear nothing but good things about them. They look fantastic. I know 3-star draws got
you
all
don't
in
have
on
one,
these.
do you? You don't have a
No,
Jada.
no. I
They are
don't.
so much fun.
Yeah, and you can see just from that pose alone, like
Yeah.
that you're not getting that pose out of a classified figure. You'd have to work really hard, in my opinion, to get something like this. And I say it's not that you couldn't get it, but just the way that the legs and the way that the arm is on the shoulder. I don't know. I just you can get it, but I think with these figures it looks like you can there's just a little more to them with that. And it's because they're
Look,
fighters.
he can touch his toes. He can literally touch his toes.
Something I haven't been able to do in years.
I mean, look at this. The articulation on these guys is phenomenal, right? I don't know. I mean, they have some of the best engineering people. I love it. Yeah. I mean, check this out. I mean,
There you go.
he's straight up touching his toes, man.
Prince would be proud. He's looking down from up in the heavens.
Look at that. I mean, and I don't know if you've seen it or not, but if you're a Street Fighter fan, the Blanca figure that's coming out has some of the best articulation on a large format figure like that I've ever seen too. Because
nice.
Well, while he may not be able to get into the ball, he can certainly get into the crouch pose really, really nicely. But these guys just are June and these guys at Jada are killing these figures.
Yeah.
They're so awesome. And they come with just enough under the base package that you could be happy with that version and you don't need another version. And you may want some of the other things or whatever. You don't have to get them, but they're probably going to come eventually. But they're going to reuse these molds as much as they can with coming out with the player 1s and 2s and alternate versions and seeing what they can do with it. And they're doing well because that SDCC Chun-Li was amazing because it's the same figure but in pink, but she also came with the accessories of the laughing hand and the peace sign hand.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I
And
saw those.
and then it came with an extra laughing head for the original, for the blue version.
Right.
So if you got that one, you got the extra head you could put on that one too.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. They're doing good stuff.
Clint, I did play Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I did play a lot of Street Fighter. I played a lot of Tekken as well. Let's see, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, and Street Fighter. More Street Fighter and Tekken than Mortal Kombat. Speaking of which,
I played Tekken more than anything.
Yeah, we used to play. I mean, dude, we used to play the crap out of Tekken. I mean, round robin tournaments. I mean, that was our jam, dude. Like that's all we did. We used to just sit there and pass the controller around, So really quickly, and then we can roll up out of here. I did want to share this. The first reveal here. Carl Urban's Johnny Cage, Katana, Shao Kahn, and more Mortal Kombat 2 images reveal. There we go. Little Carl Urban right there. We got Homegirl.
He's too old to be Johnny Cage.
He does look a little old to be Johnny, doesn't he? And then this chick here.
Katana.
This chick. I'm like, I never forgot her damn name.
Viper.
Yep. So, and then, there you go.
Shao Kahn.
So we're getting a Mortal Kombat 2 movie.
So, I mean, is this Mortal Kombat 2 or Mortal Kombat 6? I mean, I'm confused now.
It says 2.
I know. When was the first one?
I don't even know. I don't even know. When I saw 2, I thought the same thing. I went, when was the first one? Did I miss something?
Now, there were 2 Mortal Kombat Legacy movies, and those were really good. I like the Mortal Kombat Legacy movies. Then there were the original 90s Mortal Kombat 2 with Christopher Lambert and then the Wings guy who played Raiden. I forget his name, but and then I guess this one I didn't even know this was a thing, but there was also a Chun-Li movie that came out for Street Fighter too.
Yeah,
that I was like, what?
So Carl Urban looks like he's doing his best Elvis right here. Look at the lip. Look at the lip and the hand. I mean, that's an Elvis karate maneuver on stage right there. I mean, that is straight out of Las Vegas. Maybe that's some Viva right there. I love it. But yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, "Wait, 2? What? When? Where? How?" And I knew it was like a Netflix deal and whatever. So they're obviously wanting to up the ante with this, and which is fantastic. Go have at it. If it's good, if it's entertaining, right? If it's slop, then who gives a shit? Yeah. But if it's entertaining, then why not? I say go for it. But I'm with you. I wouldn't have envisioned him necessarily in that role. And this right here, we need to clean this outfit up. Let's make it a little tighter, a little more skimpy. Let's get rid of the baggy shit going on here.
Yeah.
Just being honest.
As far as I know, Elvis only trained in Shotokan Karate. I don't know that he did much else. And he did Kempo, but that's
he was a Kempo fan.
I mean, the way he does things, it looked more like Kempo to me than it did Shotokan. So Ed Parker did his job of fixing some of those old karate things.
Oh, sure. Yeah, he also was in the CIA, evidently, and it was
Oh yeah.
he was a federal agent when
James
he
Raymar.
introduced.
Yeah. I don't know why I can never remember James Raymar's name, but
Yeah.
I just call him the Wings guy.
Let's see here. Bobby Wilson says, "Do you guys remember when the last Mortal Kombat game came out and there was a video game journalist who cried about how sexist the game was because they left Chun-Li they left out." Yes. I remember recently in the last few years about the fighting games in general having more of the Kotakus of the world wanting the female characters to not have the skimpy costumes and outfits, and
I mean, do you remember
they
Dead or
wanted to be
Alive
more
back in the day?
manly, and yeah. Oh yeah,
I mean, you
absolutely.
could adjust the jiggle on that game.
Yes, yes. Something that all teenage boys would like to do in a video game. Give the fans what they want, and they will buy your product.
And you could turn it off too. You could turn it off if you wanted to because it's less distracting, right? If you
Oh
wanted
my
to focus
god.
on the fighting game and take off the jiggle, you certainly could.
Oh my gosh, just great. Anyway, but yeah,
Oh,
I did see that though, kind of last minute, and I was
hey,
like,
I
oh
love
crap.
Carl Urban, and I know he's gonna do his best to pour his heart into whatever
Sure,
role that he does.
sure.
I'm just don't think I'm interested in a Mortal Kombat movie because Legacy was so good. I don't really want to see another Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah, no, I mean, and me personally, I mean, I'm ambivalent. It doesn't matter to me personally.
I was never a big Mortal Kombat fan to begin with.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Actually,
just,
Legacy
whatever.
is what actually got me piqued interest in it because um, at the time it seemed like it was more spectacle than gameplay. I thought the gameplay in Tekken and Virtual Fighter were better because I love the 3D aspect of it. I was done
Yeah,
with 2D side scrolling fighter
yeah,
games.
I'm with you.
So yeah,
Yep, I'm with you 100%. Well, I don't know about you, man, but we powered through this one without the help of my technology. Um, but it is what it is. I'm gonna get that fixed. I thought I had it fixed after Friday night, but evidently I've got to do some more tweaking for Friday night and then next Tuesday, obviously. So I'll try to get that fixed and figure out what's wrong with my stream deck, man. But but yeah, I mean that's about all I got.
Tekken had no style. What are you talking about?
I
What are you talking about? Tekken had lots of interesting things going on in there.
Tekken was very yeah, man, like that, when the 3D fighting games really came about, like that was a big freaking deal.
Yeah,
And
so Tekken, Ballerina Toshinden, Virtual Fighter, and Soul Calibur, Soul Edge, and then
yeah,
Soul
yeah,
Calibur
Soul Calibur.
were the only 3D games that took advantage of the 3D in it.
Right.
And Tekken did so much for, especially with Tekken 2. Tekken 2 was a
Tekken
masterpiece.
2, definitely Tekken 2. I
Te-
agree with you.
Tekken 2 is a masterpiece. Like Street Fighter was sucked. Street Fighter 2 was awesome, right?
Yes, yes,
Uh,
absolutely. Street Fighter 2 Tournament Edition was badass, but yeah, Street Fighter 2 in particular. And the sound, Street Fighter 2, it had great sound design.
yeah.
The characters had great little one-off things they said.
Oh yeah.
Chun-Li, right. Uh, but
Soul
we
Edge was one of the first that had a musical score that I was like, oh wow, this is really good.
okay,
And it had an opening sequence that I love that opening sequence, and it had this RPG game quality to it where you could build up the story, and it really launched that whole universe of the Soul Calibur, what became Soul Calibur.
right.
And the Namco lore that they put into stuff like that, because Namco made Tekken and they made Soul Calibur, and so I was like super stoked about all that stuff.
I will say, out of the newer games, one that I had a lot of fun with, now it's probably been about 4 or 5 years now, was the Injustice,
Oh
the
yeah,
DC one,
yeah,
Injustice Gods Among Us, and the second one.
yeah.
Uh, Yeah, I actually had a lot of fun playing that game. Catwoman, she was my jam in that game, dude. You could whoop that ass, and she's sexy.
Yeah.
Uh, that's my inner Rick James talking. Anyway, so yeah, Matthew, it's what we, a little after the top of the hour, but um, I don't really have a whole lot to add tonight, and I need to
We
get
actually
my
covered quite a bit of the stuff
yeah.
that I wanted to cover, so I'm good.
Yep. Well, that makes me happy. Definitely, and I'm gonna try to get my stuff fixed on my end for Friday. Last Friday was embarrassing, and was not able to go for 30 minutes. That's not my love life. We're talking about streaming now, and
At least it's not 42 seconds.
that's true. Yeah, but but it was so bad because the stream started. I had no audio, and then people are in there and they're going, "I can't hear you." Of course, I know they can't hear me, but I understand why. Everybody's like, "What's going on?" And just everything started crashing, and it just was, and I got deflated.
Yeah.
It defeated me. It
Yep.
literally defeated me, and I just said I can't do this, and so I just gave up. But
Yep.
I will make it up because I did have some pretty interesting stories from the week anyway. But look, tomorrow night I will be with my cuz Sevens Wild on his channel. Me and 3 Star Draw. We are going to pick our top 7 Marvel Real American Hero comic covers, our favorites of all time.
Ooh.
Yep.
I bet you I've done action figure versions of many of the ones on your
I
list.
bet you have. I have no doubt about it. I have no doubt about it. But we're gonna see how many of ours crisscross. I don't know. I have a feeling he's got some that I probably am not thinking of. I know
Yeah.
there's one in particular that we both love because we both had it on a birthday cake. And we'll tell that one tomorrow.
Nice.
So
That's
we had to
awesome.
kind of exclude that one. But we're gonna pick our top 7 covers, and we're gonna obviously talk about the pre-orders and go over those in depth, which I know everybody has seen or heard, but we'll give our takes on it. And so that's kind of what I got going on, man. Anything for you? Anything particular or
Nothing
any
special.
streams?
Yeah, no upcoming streams that I know of. I did the Punk's Pit, and I'm probably going to be pulling back a little bit from YouTube. Maybe, I don't know. Not doing as many, the Saturday streams or anything like that.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
got some stuff I gotta take care of over here on this side of things. So,
yeah, man. I understand.
but
Absolutely.
you'll still see my pictures. I'm still taking pictures.
Um, and plenty of them too. That's for sure. That's one thing that does not stop, which is a good thing. Well, shoot, man. I know we'll be back next Tuesday for sure. And again, as we get closer and closer to summer season, and we start getting some of these movies, that we've kind of been looking forward to, or maybe looking to see if they bomb out. Really interested to see what Superman does, man. I just don't know. Very,
Yeah.
very skeptical, having not seen anything at all. So
Yep.
we'll see. But we'll have some good movies to talk about, little Thunderbolts maybe, and whatever else. But yeah, man, that's all I got. Matthew, I guess I will talk to you soon. Everybody in the chat, hit that like button on the way out the door. Thanks for stopping in. Really appreciate it. You guys are awesome, and I'm sure we will see y'all again very soon. Until next time, see ya.